Hello, this is the second video of my series, the Pre-Democrat Primary 2020 Presidential Election. This video covers the Democrats' path to victory in the 2020 election. This is going to be on the shorter side because it's more dependent on who's nominated and who's the Democrat candidate. And in order for this to really play out in favor of the Democrats, they need to obviously pick the right candidate for them, one that isn't as leftist, I'd say, one with less socialist policies, because as polls have shown that's actually unpopular among the majority of the people in this country. So they would need to have a candidate that's a little bit more moderate and, well, moderate for their standards. And I think another big thing is that they're going to need a third party candidate running against the Republican Party more so, and when I say that, I mean a third party candidate that splits some Republican vote in some states. So that would be someone like Gary Johnson or Evan McMullin, not someone like Jill Stein. So let's dive in. So big thing is that they have to retake all of the states that they won in the 2016 election. And that's why I used the disclaimer that they would need a third party candidate to be running, because in a lot of these states, like Nevada, Colorado, and more impressively, New Mexico, Gary Johnson alone took 9.3% of the vote. So when you see something like that, it really favors the Democrats because it's pulling votes away from the Republican Party. So that would be big for them to reclaim Nevada, Colorado, and New Mexico. They would also need to keep the popular vote in Maine and win New Hampshire again, and Minnesota. So now it gets into getting combinations, right? So Wisconsin isn't as big of a help as winning Michigan outright, which isn't as helpful as winning PA outright. Obviously, the biggest help would be if they flipped Florida from the 2016 election, because then it's any combination, obviously not including the district votes in Maine and in Nebraska. That wouldn't obviously put them over 269. But yeah, Florida with Pennsylvania, Florida with Wisconsin, Florida with Michigan, Florida with Arizona, and it's over. They would need to win Pennsylvania and Michigan, and if they won one other district, so let's say they took Maine, or let's say they took Nebraska, then that would put them at 269. And then depending on whether or not the House remained Democrat, or the House of Representatives, obviously, if it remained Democrat, then it would most likely be that the Democrat candidate wins. If it flipped to Republican, then it would be a Republican win. So those two, and then one of these other districts would put them at 269, and then it would come down to who's in control of the House of Representatives. And then so Wisconsin wouldn't be very helpful. I mean, every little bit's helpful, but then they would need to win multiple states. So it'd be like Wisconsin, Arizona, and then Michigan or something like that. So and then once again, that only puts them at 269. So they need to, if they won, obviously one of these districts, that put them outright at 270, or they would need to retain the House, and then they would be able to get voted in off of that. So that's pretty. I know it was very quick, but that's pretty much the path for Democrats to win. Once again, it's going to come down to what candidate they pick. If that candidate can rally a lot of moderate support, because as of right now, especially after the first Democrat candidates debate, uh, it seems a little bit too socialist. I mean, it polls have been showing that the vast majority of people in the United States are not in favor of these policies that they have, such as um, uh, free health care for all illegal immigrants. That's one huge thing, allowing illegal immigrants to vote in the election. So if there's a candidate that moves away from that and has a lot of the Democrat policies, but isn't as extreme in a lot of them, I think they might have a small chance of winning. But once again, as you can see, they need to flip a lot of states and maintain all of the close ones that they won, as well as bank on places like Nevada, Colorado, and New Mexico getting split between Democrat, Republican, and then a third party candidate that takes votes away from Republicans. So I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the third video, the Republican path to victory, and then later the fourth video, which will be my overall prediction on the 2020 election as it stands today. Thank you.